Yo. Welcome back to Raptors Flex Plus. I am your host, Kyle, and no crowd of applause for me today because I got my mans in the building. What up?
Bang bang.
Who you is,
Yeah,
boy?
yeah. You know the original, the one and only. Can I kick it? Even though I really don't do that much podcasting no more, I still got hella opinions. So
Crowd of applause for the man, yo. It's cannot kick it. My homeboy. There's nobody who I would rather have on this channel first other than you. So mad love, my G. I
no,
appreciate you for coming
no.
through. You're solid, bro.
Likewise, brother. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man. So yo, what you been up to, man? Like you getting a chance to watch any of these Raptors games or what's popping?
Oh man, hard work these days, man. I'm barely getting a chance to watch these games. I have to like watch them in like the following night and stuff because I've been so busy. But I'm catching up on the news and whatever. I'm not. I guess as a season fan, I'm not into the preseason right now. Right, all this excitement about the preseason and the new offense and all that stuff doesn't mean squat to me. Don't care. So I'm waiting for the regular season to kind of come around and start, and then we'll start talking about some real shit.
I
None of
feel
the other
you
stuff matters.
100%, guy.
Yep.
Every time I do a video, I'm like, yeah, it's the preseason, but it doesn't really matter. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm surprised. You know what? And not to mention, it's not against anybody. I love the fact that the fans, us as fans, have a platform now to talk about stuff more. But all these channels that are popping up saying these things, it's like, oh, the new offense and the new this, and I'm like, man, you guys sound like you haven't been around for those years where we went 0-3 in the preseason and then you know didn't make the playoffs,
Yeah, man.
right?
Yo,
So
but that's
yeah.
literally me, dog. Like, I started a channel and,
Hmm.
there's literally like nothing to talk about in the preseason because what I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really mean anything. But like at the same time, there is some intrigue because, you know, Nick Nurse was part of what's my man's name? Dwayne Casey's staff. So this is like the first real outside coach that we've had since Dwayne Casey, pretty much. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, but yeah, okay.
you know, but I feel you 1,000%, man. I'm definitely ready for the regular season. And not even just the Raptors. Obviously, there's mad people that got traded in the off season. Dudes signed to new teams.
Yeah,
All types of things are happening
yeah,
now in the NBA. And just like every other media outlet, like let's do some like standings predictions and like awards. How you feel about that today, yo?
I mean, we can do that. I can do the predictions. That's fine. Like, I can get down with the predictions. It's just, I'm not ready to call them the new look Raptors are scary. And we're not scary. We're not scary at all yet. We'll see what happens when
Mm.
we get on that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I agree with you 1,000% on that, man. I mean,
yeah.
it's really gonna have to be a collective effort, and we're gonna need guys to really step up into roles that they haven't really had to do before, like i.e. Scotty Barnes, i.e. OG Ananobi. Like we need to see some guys step up a little bit more in order to
Yeah.
talk about this team being scary.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Um,
That's
yeah,
what's up.
but I digress. We can do these predictions for,
Yeah,
the
man.
standing down with it. How
So
you want to do this? First,
yeah,
do
let's
rock,
start
paper,
in the
scissors? What's
East.
up?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's start in the East, man. So obviously, you know, headlining the East, you have guys like Dame that are that have moved to new teams. The Celtics have made a flurry of changes. James Harden's not really showing up to practice. We don't know what the hell's happening in Philadelphia, but let's do these
I don't know.
predictions, man.
Yeah. You want to go first? What's up?
Yeah, I mean, you are the guest. If you want to go first, you can go first. If not, I can do my thing. What are you saying?
It's all good. Okay, I'll tell you what. I do have the Bucks at one. Last year the Celtics were number two. I think they take a drop because I don't like any of the moves that they made. I don't know what they were thinking getting rid of Marcus Smart. Makes no sense to me. Kristaps, I just don't understand. It's like they're looking for the second coming of Larry Bird so hard that they did it with Gordon Hayward. That didn't work, and now we've gone to Kristaps Porzingis. I don't like it. I don't think they've helped Jason or anything else. So I don't think they're at number two this year. Uh, I'll put, surprisingly enough, really and truly, I had the Knicks going at number two.
Number two, the Knicks.
Yeah.
What's your love affair with that squad? Because that's a surprise to me. Like even when you like look through all the so-called experts and stuff on ESPN, like I don't think I've seen the Knicks number two anywhere, fam.
Yeah, I know. I think, well, there's a couple things. I don't think the Celtics are going to be that good. I think they're still guard heavy. I don't see how they've addressed the point guard spot or the moving of the ball. The Sixers were fourth last year. Um, and well, Philly's a fucking dumpster fire. Like it's I don't know what's going on over there, and I don't know if Nick Nurse is going to be able to change that culture around. I just think it's such a mess right now. James Harden's not coming in. Joel Embiid is notorious for not coming in to camp in shape. I don't know how he's going to be. All he's had is distractions. They've not been managed very well ever since they lost Jimmy Butler. It's just been a no. It's not. I think they were lucky to be where they were last year. Um,
So hold on. So
and I
far
think
you
New York is
have
better.
so hold on, hold on,
I
hold on.
got
So far you got the Celtics, the Knicks. Who's number three?
I got I got I got Milwaukee at number one. I got the Knicks at number two because I just think that they were just on the cusp of being really good. And with RJ going to the Olympics, Barrett having that summer that he's had, they've been playing against some pretty high competition. Jalen Brunson was in the Olympics playing for Team USA. He showed out. Julius Randle, all he needed to do was just be healthy for a year. So I think they're a lot. I think they're a lot better than people think they are. And Tom Thibodeau was one of those guys. If you remember when he had the Bulls, right? They were like eighth for a little while, and they were run down, and then all of a sudden they were really, really fucking good, right? And it looks like he has that kind of team getting built for him again. So I still believe in Thibodeau. They're gonna play hard. They're gonna be a defensive squad, and I think they might surprise a lot of people this year. So I
Wow.
got Milwaukee, New York. I'll still keep the Heat around number three. I think the Cavs are gonna go around number four, and then for let's say no, I said so Milwaukee, New York, um, and then I said the Heat. I think the Cavs should be pretty good. Uh, I think Washington might be a lot better, but I don't know if I'll put them up there. I guess I between the Raptors and the Bulls at 5 and 6, and then my that's kind of what rounds it out. Then the Wizards and everybody else comes into play. We'll see how good the Wizards are with who they've picked up. I think Jordan Poole's going to be pretty special with the ball in his hands all year.
Okay. So trying to recap that then. So you have Milwaukee, you have the Knicks, you
Yep,
have Miami,
yep,
you
yep.
have Philly. No, sorry, you have
Philly,
the
yeah,
Cavs.
and then Cavs. Actually, you know what? Let's put the Celtics before, right in the middle there, right before that. I forgot about them. I don't think they'll be that bad. I just don't think they'll be that good.
All right, fam. All right, fam. I mean, I'm not as high as you are on Miami and New York. So I got the Celtics finishing first in the East. So here's the thing, right? I agree they lost
All
Marcus
right.
Smart, they lost Brogdon, they lost Grant Williams. Robert Williams is the big loss for them for me. But they also got Drew Holiday, who's a replacement for I think he's one man that can kind of replace both Marcus Smart, what he does defensively, as well as what Brogdon brings offensively. So you have one player that's able to kind of come through and fill both of those roles in some way, shape, or form. And then Chris Stapps, he is the wild card for me, but I
Okay.
just feel like Boston is poised because they have a lot of carryover from last year as well, but their top two players, I think they're really going to put it on their shoulders this year in the regular season and finish atop the standings. But that's also because I think Milwaukee's going to come second, but I think they might need a little bit of time to kind of gel and get chemistry as a team. And I also think that they're not playing for the regular season. Like Milwaukee's playing for the chip this year. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
looking at the regular season as like, a notch in their belt. They just want to get healthy to the playoffs and then make another run to the finals. So
Yeah.
got the Celtics, Bucks. I think the
I don't
Cavs
know,
are like,
man.
say what?
I don't know if I don't. The thing about Milwaukee is it's just the player makeup for me. Like if it was anybody else, like if it was guys like Braun and Melo and all that getting together, I could understand time to gel. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I don't. It wasn't a playoff game where Giannis was throwing ladders. It was a regular fucking season game, and Giannis was out there throwing ladders in the middle of the season. So whatever. I think those guys are gonna be ready to go. I don't think it's gonna. I just don't think it's gonna take a long time for them to gel. I think those guys are about winning. I think they gun for number one every year, and the only thing that ever stops them is injuries.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, they're also working in a new coach too, right? They got Adrian Griffin now instead of Budenholzer. So like now you're learning a new system, similar to like what we're doing also in Toronto. You're learning a new
Hmm.
system. You have star players that need to learn how to play together versus us. Like I think Toronto's whole thing is a collective effort and everyone buys into the system. But I think Milwaukee's going to cater a little bit more to their stars. So Dame and Giannis. And then Chris
Hmm.
Middleton's going to be now, he's been like the second string for, not second string, but like the second star for like so many years now. And now he's going to be the
Okay.
third star. So that's what I mean by like just taking some time to gel. Like, I don't think that
Okay. I
it's,
mean,
you know,
yeah, yeah. It's a fair listen. I'm known for my off the wall approach to these takes and whichever. Uh, I'm
that's
also
why we
I'm
love you,
also
fam.
kind
That's
of
why we love
fanboying
you.
out. I'm also fanboying out over this whole Dame situation. I'm loving that he's there paired with Giannis. I don't think you could have made a better match, right? I just don't. I don't know. I don't believe in the Celtics, man. They got their souls taken. Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler just completely. It was just Jimmy Butler.
I
They
think those
got
guys
Jimmy
have been
Butler.
there before though. Like they've lost to like they've been to conference finals. It feels like every friggin' year since like LeBron was in Cleveland. It feels like, you know what I mean? So like they've
Yeah.
had that heart
Okay.
before. It's not, and they've been able to break through, get to the finals once,
Hmm.
albeit, but that's not going to stop them from doing well in the regular season. I don't think so, personally.
All right. I guess I hear what you're saying. Like, yes, they do usually do well. They've had typically the best offense or defense, uh, one of the top offenses and defenses in the regular season. I don't know. I don't like any of the moves that they made except for the Drew Holiday. I will give you that. The Drew Holiday
It's a
trade
nice
is
move.
pretty good, but it just doesn't address like they remind me of the Raptors, like that, like the 20, not the 2019, but like the 2015. Demar and Kyle, right? You're number one in the East all the time, and then all of a sudden it's just not working. Like something's not working, and I think it needs to be addressed between Jason and Jalen. It's one of those two need to go. And I hate to say that I'm not saying they're bad players. I just there's only so much ball and so much time,
Marcus Smart
right?
wasn't working, yo.
I don't think he was the problem. I don't think he was the
That's what they
problem, dog.
think, not me.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not saying that you do. You think it either, but I don't think that Marcus Smart was the problem, right? Um, sorry, crew. My allergies are going crazy.
It's all good,
Um,
kid.
you guys have to deal with it. It's real life. Yeah, I don't think that he was the problem. I really don't. In fact, I've watched him probably get them out of more of those jams than anything. You know what I mean? I think he's probably one of the
True.
reasons they were so focused. It's a great pickup by Memphis. Tell you that much. Memphis addressed the hell of that John Morant situation with that shit.
Well, we'll see
Him and
about that.
Derek Rose and Marcus Smart are a very. I mean, it may not work, but that those are very good steps to mentoring Draw.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
anyways, I digress. Like I said, I'll take the Celtics at 4, and then you know we'll put everybody else down a peg. But I do think I don't. I don't see why the Cavs might not be better than them this year. I think the Cavs are a team that are poised to take another step. I think they're well coached, and yeah, they're just younger and faster. Like there's some of these new guards that are coming in right now. Like I don't know how you're gonna stop, Darius Garland and then those two bigs on inside. The Celtics have gotten smaller and weaker on the inside, so I
Mhm.
just don't. Yeah,
Yeah. And like I don't think the Celtics are done adding inside as well, you know what I mean? But like as the roster is currently constructed, yeah, like that is a major glaring hole for them, like obviously, you know what I mean? Like Al
yeah,
Horford's not that guy anymore. You know what I mean?
no,
That's why like I prefaced them like, yo, Robert Williams, big loss guy. Big loss.
yeah,
I'd love to have him in Toronto.
yeah.
He's in Portland right now.
Oh, they're not doing anything. He
Trust
should
me,
come over
guy.
here.
It should
He
be a
should come
fire
over here
sale
for
over
sure.
there. Like Masai needs them Bobby needs to get on the phone. Like, you know, I
Well,
was
that's
actually
something I
saying,
don't know.
huh?
It's always been in the side we trust, and lately I've, you know, there are some things that I believed in before that I'm questioning right now when it comes to this Raptors team.
Fair.
So
Fair.
yeah,
I think a lot of us feel that way now, bro. Like, I think a lot of us were blindly trusting things because of all the success that we've had over the years.
yeah, yeah,
And, he's human too. Like no one's perfect at their job, Some people have an off year, you know what I mean? Or like you make a move that you think is the right move and it just doesn't work out. Like it happens. He deserves a little bit of leash for that. But I agree
absolutely,
that the
yes.
fans shouldn't be like just blindly being like not critical of some of the moves that he's making.
Well, yeah, like I mean, e- either he's playing some real 3D or 4D chess, or they've fucked this beyond repair, where they're just gonna have to sit and live with their mistakes. But I don't know what's gonna happen with all the contracts coming off the books. We lost Fred for nothing. I didn't really want to give up Fred, but in hindsight, we should have traded him for something, right? Right? Dallas wanted him. We could have definitely had Brunson.
I mean, I don't want to sit here and beat my chest on it, but like that was my issue with that from time. I'm like, yo, bro, like for anyone that would listen, I'm like, we got to like make some moves at the trade deadline. And another guy that I called for at the trade deadline was OG Ananobi, but he's still here. I love me some OG, but we can't have the same thing that just happened to Fred happen with OG Ananobi, like where mans are just leaving
Hold
for
on.
nothing. Like can't have that.
Sorry, hold on one sec. One sec. Sorry, brother.
No worries. So while you're stepping away, I'm just gonna finish off my top six. So just to recap, I got the Celtics, I got the Bucks, I got the Cavs at number three, I have the Knicks at number four. The Knicks are a team that made it to the second round last year. They actually beat the Cavs in the first round in the 4-5 matchup last year. But I look at the Knicks as more of a regular season type team, and I think that they can build on some of the success that they've had last year around that core of Randall, Brunson, and Barrett. And it also looks like they've grabbed a few other guys from Villanova. So Jalen Brunson's buddies, they're on the squad now. So they already have that experience playing with each other, and I think Emmanuel quickly is in for a big season this year off the bench. As long as he can get his consistency right, he kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Gary Trent Jr. Like, you have
Mm-hmm.
3 games where you just fill it up. You know what I mean? High efficiency, and then you have 3 games where you're just a high volume shooter with 10 points or something. So, nevertheless, I think the Knicks will have a good regular season, finish off at number four. I got the Sixers at number five. Um, Reason being for that, like, I think that they're probably more talented than the Cavs and the Knicks, but I just don't know what the hell is going on with James Harden and his situation, which makes things very murky in Philadelphia. And then you're bringing in Nick Nurse. So we, as Raptors fans, all have experience with what Nick Nurse is about. And I'm wondering how they're gonna kind of do things defensively because their guards are or their roster have guards that are a lot smaller than what we were doing last year, where we had kind of had that 6'8" lanky thing, and everybody's switching off on defense and running around like crazy. I'm not sure if Philly can do that. But I give Nick Nurse a little bit of credit because I think he's a type of coach that has a bunch of different defensive schemes. We saw, Steph Curry said, "Yo, Nick Nurse's defense is janky and all type of things." So, Nick Nurse, he got some stuff inside of his bag, but again, I'm not sure that that roster is set to do defensively what Toronto did last year, even though they
Yeah,
got
I
like
don't believe
Pat
it.
Bev and Tucker, PJ Tucker, DeAnthony Melton. They have some guys. I'm just not too sure about them. And then number 6, just to round off my playoff squads, and then we can start talking about the play-in and all that. I have the Heat. So I think you had the Heat at number 3. I still have them in playoff position, but um, I don't know. I think they're poised to just drop a little bit. Last year they finished at 8 or 9 or something like that, and they were still able to obviously make it to the finals. So maybe the regular season isn't as important to them as maybe another squad like the Cavs or the Knicks that, they want to keep any success that they've had going because they haven't had any of that success recently up until now. Or I should say in the past until recently now. So yeah, I got the Heat at 6. So recap: Celtics, Bucks, Cavs, Knicks, Sixers, Heat. What do you think?
Celtics, Bucks, Cavs, right? It's interesting that you have the Cavs and the Knicks up there. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. It's like I said, the Knicks and the Cavs. I don't think that they're better teams, but I will say this to your point. You said that like Boston is or Milwaukee is a team that's not really playing for the regular season, right? Like they're playing to go for the chip. So they're getting ready to be healthy for the championship. So number one is not necessarily maybe the biggest thing. I mean, them being conference champions is not the biggest thing. They want to be NBA champs.
Hmm.
Um, but the Cavs and the Knicks are teams that are going to play for the regular season. Like they have something to prove. They're young guys, and they still, to me, though, those are teams that would still have the mentality that home court advantage is very important to them, right?
Hmm.
Um, they're not going in like, okay, it doesn't matter what it is, we have to win 16 games. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
They're looking at it like home court advantage and our matchups. You know what I mean? Like that coaching staff wants to give those teams a very big head start into whatever playoff scenario they go into, right? So I think that matters to them. So I agree with that, and I do agree that Philly's a dumpster fire. I can understand why you take Miami at 6 as well, because Miami's also another team that is going to play for a chip, but health has been a thing for them. They play fucking hard. Private Riley runs those guys. He's the only guy that runs guys harder than Tom Thibodeau. So yeah, I can get down behind that.
All right, so I'm
You know
not
what I
I'm
mean?
not going crazy here. So that's cool. Um so up to this point, neither of us has said the Raptors yet. So top 6, for anyone that watches obviously NBA, we know top 6 automatically into the playoffs. Anybody that's between 7 and 10 in the regular season standings are in the play-in. So I'm going to ask you, hello, where do you see the Raptors at, man? Are they?
God, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't
Ah,
know, dog. Like, here's the thing about the Raptors. They are. Everybody says there's no talent on the team, but there is talent on the team. It's just what are we doing, right? Like, are we giving OG? Are we giving Scotty Barnes the ball, the point guard duties? It's great that we have Dennis Schroeder, but Dennis Schroeder has been very good in world play for a long time, and then Dennis Schroeder has been Dennis Schroeder in the NBA for a long time as well. Like it's not. I don't see Dennis Schroeder. He's not going to average. I don't know. He's not. I don't think he's going to average. Fucking 20 and 10. You know what I mean?
oh hell no,
Right?
hell no,
Right.
hell no.
But
Nobody better
let's
expect that from him either, because if so,
no.
like that's some blow life mentality for real.
Here's the thing, right? And and this is the thing about being a fan. Um, Kyle Lowry, right, was a guy that came in and nobody really fucking believed in Kyle Lowry. at all. He was coming off the bench for Jose Calderon. We remember those years. And then all of a sudden now we're calling this guy the greatest Raptor ever, right? There is some truth to the lore that a lot of people can make a name in Toronto. You want to make a name for yourself, you can come here and make a name for yourself. And we can even go as far to attribute that to Kawhi Leonard. You know what I mean? Although he was a superstar before he came here, what he did in Toronto was legendary, right? So is Dennis Schroeder going to come here and be better than he was anywhere else? There's totally a chance. It's not totally outside of the cards, right? But I just don't know if this team has, like, Pascal is our best player, but noticeably we could use a lot more grit from him, and I think that the team is going to need a lot of grit to place in that top six, right? And it's a young team. I see them at eight or nine. I see them doing the play-in again, unless Pascal decides that he's going to fucking dominate, you know, every matchup that he can, because he's not going to dominate matchups like Zion, right? But he can definitely dominate a matchup like Julius Randle. So I don't know. It depends on what Pascal. It really is what Pascal's gonna comes into the season looking like. And I don't know if I've watched a couple summer workouts. I don't know that it looks any different. I think he's kind of reached his peak. I don't know how much better he's gonna get. The only thing that he can get better at is being more dominant. I know it sounds very mundane and cliche, but unless he has an attitude shift to where he's taken off people's heads in games, I don't see us placing anywhere outside of eight.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think
Like,
that's fair.
go ahead.
So
Sorry.
I I have them at 7. Um and
Yeah.
I tend to agree with everything that you just said for the most part. Obviously once we start talking about the play in 7 to 10, all those teams could be interchangeable, and it really doesn't even matter. You could be the 10th seed and play your way into the playoffs. So, um,
Yeah.
you know, what I see from the Raptors, in order for them to be a playoff team, let's say to crack the top 6, um, it's not so much that I need to see Pascal be more dominant. It's I need you to be more efficient. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to step up your 3-point shooting a little bit in terms of your percentage. I don't need you taking more threes. I need you hitting more threes, more of the threes that you take. You know what I'm saying? I need you to make good decisions around the basket and not turn over the basketball. I need you to play within the offense, but also not be afraid to play second fiddle on certain nights when Scotty Barnes decides that he wants to be the man. And, you know, I'm really not sure even if that's enough because, as you say, Pascal's kind of hit his peak and he is who he is. I'm not sure that he has it in him to be dominant. Like dominant, like who? You know what I mean? What kind of dominance are we looking at? Are we looking like a
Okay.
Jason Tatum,
Let
you just
me.
take over a game type dominance?
Yeah. It's not to take over the game. Maybe it is. It's kind of that and kind of not that. But here's. I'll give you this scenario. As I imagine the season going, Raptors are going to be pretty good defensively. Okay.
Hmm.
They're long. They're they're just going to cause problems. It's not an easy team. They're switchable. They still have that personnel. OG is probably the best defender in the league on ball, especially on the wing. They're going to be in a lot of close games, right? Who's taking those last four shots when we're in a
Yeah,
close game? Who's
yeah,
taking that shot when we're tie game?
yeah,
Is it Pascal? And has he has he shown me the ability to create his shot more now than ever? No, he hasn't. He's kind of gone away from the drive and whichever. We'll see what it's like when I'm sure he's going to be more efficient. He already looks more efficient from what I've seen so far, right? Like just him not having to play iso ball, I think he's going to be more efficient. Absolutely. But my thing is, you have to, as the best player on a team, at some point, and it doesn't matter who. At some point, we've seen it with like Victor Oladipo, right? It's not about you being big. You just have to be the guy that takes that shot with confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's about being. That's what I mean when I say you have to be able to dominate or impose your will on a game. I'm not asking you to be Paul George or Kawhi Leonard. You know what I mean? But I do need you to have some of that Jason Tatum in you. Like when things are not going right, and it was one thing that Fred did very well. There's a lot of things that we don't like about Fred, but when things weren't going right, Fred's gonna give you a fuck. He's gonna get you a 3 pointer. You can rely on him to put it in from three. You can rely on him to make that defensive play. And if it gets chippy, he's gonna be right there with his nose in there. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Pascal has never been that guy right now, but he is the guy that everybody's gonna turn towards.
Yeah.
We haven't even signed him for another contract yet. So what are we doing in that case? You know what I mean? And that's
Oh,
what I mean when I say dominant. I need him to be able to score
yeah.
at will when get a bucket, create your own shot.
When it
Right? You got to
matters.
be that guy now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But we don't have a. That's not a. We don't have one of those guys at all.
We don't. We don't. And that's roster construction too, right? Like, I mean, the thing is with Pascal, where like I know me and you have had these conversations before, like, and like I might give him a Bly a little more easily than you in some cases. Like for me, I just always think back to what my expectations were for Pascal when he was drafted. I literally thought he was like an energy guy off the bench. Like, I don't know if you've been watching like all these preseason games, but there's a guy named Mohamedou Gay that's on the team right now. And he's kind of like
Yeah.
a spark plug running around, blocking shots, running the court, like,
Mm.
being an energy type. Like that was my expectation for Pascal Siakam. Like I wasn't even sure if he'd get like a second contract type thing. And he's exceeded every expectation that I've ever had of him, even when I've elevated my expectations for him. Um, what I really need to see from him now is exactly what you said. Like if he really has that next gear, that next level to his game, and if not, I mean, he is who he is. He's become a really really solid player, All NBA twice. Like I, I
Yeah.
don't know any Raptors fan that could have sat here and said when he was drafted that Pascal Siakam would be All NBA twice, and I think he was a Most Improved Player one year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I
No.
don't know.
Absolutely. Listen, man. It's life's not fucking fair, dude. Right? You know what I mean? Like I get it. He was he was a guy that he came in and yes, we saw him run block shots, nifty little spin move, but nobody thought he was going to be the max contract player on the team,
Hmm.
right? And when he got that money, people scoped. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you can't say that he kind of doesn't deserve it. You know what I mean? Like he made a name for himself. All I'm saying is, right? At some point, right? If we're gonna win this, if we're gonna win right now, that's the question there. If we're gonna be outside of that eighth seed, outside of seventh to be in the playoffs, he's gonna have to adopt the mentality that the guy that I'm facing, I'm taking his fucking head off. Like
Yeah.
that's it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's if Pascal's watching right now, you can be as mad as you want. I'm not saying you suck, dog. I'm not saying that you suck. I think you're a really good player. I just think you need to be a lot meaner. In fact, I think he was meaner when Kyle was here. I would pay to have Kyle back. 'Cause I don't know what Kyle's putting in his ear, but when he first came out and you know blocking shots, running the rims before he was ever a jump shooter. You know what I mean? He was a little meaner. He was a little meaner. He was a guy that looked a little more hungry. Now I think he's gotten into a place where there's so much responsibility on his shoulders that it's important to him to be efficient, to be able to take that jump shot, to be a jump shooter, to look like that kind of player that's versatile. He's not just a running and dunking guy, but we need some of that old Pascal back with going to you need to mix a little bit more of that inside game, throwing elbows around, blocking shots, and being that energy guy because that's what got you here. We can't have you just out here as a jump shooter. It's not what we need. You know what I mean? And Scotty can be what you were, but it's we're at the point with this team where it's you're either going to get rid of Pascal and give Scotty the keys, or you're going to find a way that these guys can coexist together.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're sitting at the eighth seed right now because we don't have a true direction at all,
Yeah.
right? And if he's our best player, then we need to he needs to be our best player, right? But there's a lot of nights where it's like Scotty's the guy that's getting us our fourth quarter buckets. He's the guy that's getting the fouls, the the and ones at the end of the game, and making his free throws,
Hmm.
right? That's something I've been very impressed with Scotty about. He's the guy that will go out there and he'll make his free throws. Pascal, you go to that free throw line, you're looking a little jittery, my man. You're looking a little jittery sometimes. I don't believe in you all the time, but I believe Scotty will make those free throws.
Yeah.
So
And I think like that's
yeah.
the difference too between, you know, being the number two guy and being the number one guy. Because we've seen guys be number twos before, and then they get signed somewhere to be a number one, and then they don't produce the exact same way that we expected them to. Because there's a different type of pressure when you are the guy. You know what I'm saying? But I think Scotty has the right mentality that when his number is called to be the guy, he can be the guy. But
Hmm.
in terms of Pascal, I'm really hoping that, with the reduced minutes that he's going to have this year, because he's led the league in minutes the last couple seasons. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
now we're asking him to go down there, be mucky, mix it up, and, still be able to run back on defense. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you're asking him to do a lot. And that was always my issue with Nick Nurse. You know what I'm saying? And as
Mm.
the best player on the team, like, yeah, the expectation should be that we're asking you to do the most. But, you know, I don't think that you can just put everything on one man's plate. You know what I'm saying? Like, and expect him to play 40 minutes a night. Like, that's insane in today's NBA. So,
All right. Yeah, I get
hopefully
you. I
that's the
get you.
case with reduced minutes. He can do exactly what you would like to see from him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. You mentioned a couple things. So who do you have at 8 if you have the Raptors at 7?
So everything's interchangeable for me between 7 and 10. Okay.
Yeah, I get it.
So I have the Wizards at number 8, because I'm
Okay.
liking myself some Jordan Poole. I think Jordan Poole is gonna go ham this year, yo. He's gonna
Jordan Poole
yam
looked
food this year.
coldest munch ever.
Yo, dog, chill.
I don't care. I don't care if Ice Spice played him. I don't care if she called him a bunch at all. He cold.
Woo.
All right, he cold.
Yeah, you're cold
This
as ice,
guy
bro.
in preseason is coming down the court just taking pull up threes.
Yeah.
Like cool, cool.
Well, he's from
Muskrat
that
Pool is
system,
not
guy.
playing. Yeah, he's from that. You know what I'm saying? But okay, to my point, he's one of those guys, right? Where you give him the keys and he gonna drive that car, man. He gonna drive that car. He's not. You know what I'm saying? He didn't come here to be number two to Kyle Kuzma. Like that's Jordan Poole's team right now. If the way I'm looking at it, that's Jordan Poole's team. I have him. I have them at 7, and I mean they better hope that Kuzma don't play half decent because if he does, then that number could change drastically. Like
Kuzma will play half decent. He
yeah,
has been
like
playing
that.
half decent.
So I don't know if they're. I don't know. Washington might be onto something here because the munch, the munch is here and he ain't playing around, man. That's probably what got him punched in the face. Is
Facts.
that he just felt like I don't need to respect y'all. Y'all need to respect me. I've been scoring
I've been
20
him. I've
with
been
all
him.
you guys. Yeah, like that's well documented. So
Hmm.
that's probably what got him punched in the face. It was that arrogant attitude that it takes to be a number one,
My
right?
only problem with Washington, though, fam, is I just don't like the rest of their roster. Like, I think Kuzma and Jordan Poole are just gonna like fill it up and go. They're gonna go wicked. At some point, like what I think is early in the season, you're probably gonna see them be up there with like a number 5 seed early in the season, and everybody will be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Like, what's Washington doing this year?" And then they'll kind of regress to the means. But
Yeah.
like those two guys, they have the potential to like fill it up this year, 25 a game, eh?
I think they're gonna get somebody else before trade deadline.
Hmm.
I don't think Washington's done making moves. I think Washington's finally. I mean, they came off Bradley Beal for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But they came off Bradley Beal the right way. You know what I'm saying? So I I don't know. I believe in the munch.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. I
I
mean,
believe in the munch.
I believe enough
You
in
know
them
what
as well in order to get to the 8th seed for a play-in. In terms of what happens at that point, like I got like the Bulls and the Hawks then at 9 and 10. And when you have those two teams, they have experience playing in the play-in, playing in the playoffs. So it's possible that, the Wizards may not even be a playoff team when it's all said and done, once the play-in is done, or it's possible that they will. But like I said, any of those four teams, I think can probably like make their way through to to the whatchamacallit, to the playoffs. And I'm also gonna throw the Nets in there because the Nets had a fantastic season last year. But with like Ben
Hmm.
Simmons coming back, and I'm not sure if Mikal Bridges can keep up the same pace that he did when he got traded to the Nets last year. Like he was playing like,
Yeah,
a man possessed. Um, I'm not saying he's
he
not
was.
good, but I'm not sure about that.
You know what? I agree. I don't know. I like Mikael Bridges, but it's the same thing with Washington. It's like who else is on that team,
Yeah.
right? And I believe in Kuzma more than I believe in Ben Simmons right now, and
Oh,
deservedly so.
please.
But Ben may surprise us. He may be done with the fucking bullshit, and whichever, I will give Ben this one bly. I don't know what the fuck is in the water in Philly, right? But everything that comes out of there has just been, except for
Tainted.
Jimmy Butler, everything that just comes out of Philly has just been like, I don't know what's happening. Like they need to fix that immediately. Daryl Morey, and not to mention Daryl Morey, isn't this the same guy that fucked up Houston? I don't know. Anyways,
Well,
I don't know what's going on in Philly, but
you know exactly what it is because you've mentioned it like 3 times now. Them giving up Jimmy Butler, everything went downhill from there. Like that team probably should have like been in the finals, probably won a championship that year when we took them on. Kawhi hit the buzzer shot. Like you can
yeah,
argue
like
that they were more talented than us in terms of their top, I don't know,
oh yeah,
5, 6 players. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
roster construction matters also.
I think Philly, like they lost that series and they panicked. I don't
Yeah.
know what everybody's problem with Jimmy Butler was. He's working out fine in Miami, right?
This
But
guy's taken
every
way less
organization that has
talented
not,
teams to the finals.
way
Hmm.
less. We gotta get to the West just now, but like, yeah, I don't know. I just Ben Simmons, I'll give him that bly. Maybe he's getting whatever happened in Philly. Maybe he's over that shit now and he's ready to get on with his career, and I hope so because I think he could be a solid player. I think he's more talented than just being a solid player if he gets to work on his game. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens with them. Interestingly enough, I would like to know why you don't believe in the Bulls or the Pacers.
Okay.
I don't believe in them either, but I would love to know what your take is.
For me, the Bulls have $20 million wrapped up this season in Lonzo Ball, and he's not even playing. You know what I'm saying? Like if they had Lonzo Ball, or if they were able to get off that contract and add a couple players or something, like they would be a dangerous team. But like what I'm seeing from them is that they just don't fit as a team. Like they've been together now for what, 2, 3 seasons or something like that. Demar's been over there, and what have they
Yeah.
shown us? They've shown us that they can
Oh,
compete for a playing spot with those three guys. You know what I'm saying? Zach, Demar, and Vucevic, and Lonzo's been on a milk carton. So like we don't really know. Like
is
they're missing,
Caruso back?
huh?
Is
Caruso?
Caruso back?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but. Uh, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bulls make a run either. But like, they actually like burned me one year, man. Remember, like back on your podcast, we were talking, and I'm like, "Yo, the Bulls." Now I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that no more. I'm done with it, guy." Straight. Why
I
don't you
told
believe
you.
in
You
them?
know,
They're not in your top eight
huh?
either. Why don't you believe in the Bulls or the Pacers? They're not in your top eight.
DeMar is in the wrong place. DeMar doesn't belong in Chicago. He doesn't belong in Chicago. He should not be playing with Zach Levine. Zach Levine should not be playing with him. That is not a match made in heaven. I don't understand why everybody's trying to do this Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown thing like it works. It doesn't. It
It's
doesn't
easier
work.
to
It
get
never
two
has.
stars than 3 stars. That's why.
No, no, no. But it's the type of star that you will get, right? Go get a star big man. You know what I mean? And then get a proper point guard and fill out the rest of the roster with some depth and some role players. You don't just go and stack four small forwards together or shooting guards together and be like, you guys go out and figure it out. Don't make no sense. There isn't enough. The ball has to like, what was killing us with Philly and why they were more talented than us at that time was because the way their star roster was built. What do they have? They had Jimmy Butler, they had Ben Simmons, and they had
Joel Embiid,
Joel Embiid, right?
Tobias
Those are
Harris, JJ
Tobias Harris,
Redick.
but it's the ball. You can expose matchups. You can expose matchups and weaknesses from the other team based on that talent that you have. It doesn't matter, the fact that Toronto had we had Kawhi, we had Pascal, and whichever. And if those guys were more ready, if they were playing the team that played Milwaukee, right? Then maybe we would have won that in like maybe 4 or 5, right? But at that point, we're young, they're still learning, and those are seasoned vets that you can throw in at matchups. They're rotating. We have 5 guys on, 5 guys off. When those guys come off, they still have an All NBA player on the squad that's exposing, us defensively at some point. That's how they were keeping themselves in that series. Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, they do the same thing. You only have to come up with one plan to stop these guys. They both do the same thing. They're the same type of player. They're gonna play on opposite sides of the wing. You know what I mean? And most of the time you have them on the court at the same time. So one guy is not getting in rhythm and the other guy is getting in rhythm, and we see how that goes. They rarely ever get off at the same time.
I
So
blame that on
I take
coaching.
it back to who we just talked. Sure, whichever, but I just don't think you can put those two stars together and think like I don't think you can just put two guards together like that or the two same type player on a team together like that and they're gonna work out. Zach
Yeah,
Levine and DeMar DeRozan, they very rarely ever get off at the same time because they're rhythm players. You see DeMar is at his best when the ball is in his hands and he's running shit. Right? It's the same for Zach Levine. So how can they both be the best at what they're doing if they're not gonna have the ball in their hands all the time?
yeah, yeah. I agree with you, right? Which is why I said earlier, I'm like, roster construction matters. It determines who you put together. Sometimes just don't fit, and less talented teams on paper beat those teams because they're able to work together, play a specific role, you know, um, and they're not stepping on each other's toes. So like I agree. Like I'm not. That's the reason why I'm not a fan of the Bulls either. And you know, who knows? Maybe things aren't working out for them, and they need to like make a trade at the deadline. And maybe the Raptors can come in and grab Zach Levine, dog. What do you think? I'm bugging, yeah, I'm bugging.
Would you rather have Zach Levine than DeMar?
Yes, yes. Because like
Why?
Toronto's missing shooting, man. Like OG Ananobi, like we don't have no shooting guy. Like we need some shooting. We have guys that can score already, but like no one's really a shooter that scares you. No one's afraid of Pascal shooting a three. No one's scared of Scotty Barnes shooting a three. No one's scared of OG Ananobi shooting a three. We don't even want Jakob Pertl standing anywhere near the three unless he's setting a screen. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
And I think we have players that work well below the 3 point line right now. But if you get a guy like Zach Levine that can create his own shot and still be deadly from beyond the arc, I think that might be a better fit on the Raptors than a DeMar DeRozan that's a little bit struggles from beyond the 3 point line.
When he wants to, I guess. Okay, I hear you. Uh, Before we get to the West, I just want to know why you don't believe in the Pacers.
It's you know like putting these standings and predictions together is so difficult because once you start going
It
through
is.
all the squads, you're like, yo, the Pacers are pretty good. They're not bad, man.
No,
But
they don't
like,
suck at all.
no, they don't suck, man. I love Halliburton. You know what I mean? Benedict Matherin is dope. Like last year, I was hoping that he'd be in consideration for the rookie of the year. They have guys. I just, someone's got to finish, 14th in the conference.
That's terrible.
So I don't know. Like I wouldn't be surprised either if they snag the 8 seed. It's not a diss to them, but someone's got to finish low, and yeah,
Did they still have Miles Turner?
yes, they do.
Uh,
They have.
it's
I
a
made
pretty
some notes here. They have Buddy Healed, Matherin,
ooh,
Halliburton, Turner.
ooh,
Like
ooh.
they signed Bruce
It's a lot of
Brown in the
shooting.
off season. They got a
So
little
I
squad
mean, they are my dark horse squad,
to do
but
what?
I don't know, just to be in the playoffs, just to be in eight,
Oh,
like make it
I was like,
what's
bro,
yeah, they're a championship for sure. Yeah, those
they are
guys.
not going to the finals, man. I'll bet you right now, yo.
Um, I'm off the wall, but I'm not that much. I'm not that far off, bro. I
All
don't
right,
think they're making a championship. They're young, but they're nice though. You know what I mean? All right, let's do the West, man.
I agree. All right, man. So that's
Yeah,
the Eastern Conference predictions. Anyone that's been supporting this channel, again, please like and subscribe. Leave some comments if you want. With my man, can I kick it? And we just kicking it right now on Raptors Flex. So we about to get into the Western Conference predictions. You want to start off, or you want me to kind of kick it
no,
off?
I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first this time. Disclaimer: last night I worked late and I did my list on a receipt at the bar, and I no longer have that with me, so I'm kind of on the fly here. But hey, like I said, this is real life, so
That's okay, man. That's what we do. We adapt, man.
right, right.
So
But I'll let you go first. Go ahead, man.
all right, cool. So number one in the West, I got my man Jamal Murray from Kitchener, Ontario. Shout out to all my Kitchener, Ontario people. He don't know I got peoples out there. I don't know Jamal Murray, but shout out to Kitchener. Number one, man. Like they're the defending champions. They lost Bruce Brown in the offseason and Jeff Green, which I believe
Yeah,
are, those losses are gonna hit, but they also had Christian Braun that played on the team last year, and I remember he was getting run in the finals, and he was playing quite well in the finals. So I'm thinking that he's gonna be the replacement for Bruce Brown,
yeah,
and this team they've been together. Like the core of this team now has been together for at least 2 or 3 seasons, and they've already won a chip. You know what I'm saying? When we're talking about Jamal, obviously Nikola Jokic, who has what, 3 MVPs, 2 or 3 MVPs. Michael Porter Jr. We're still waiting for him to get off and be like, a real third scoring option. But you know,
hmm
obviously he's still a gamer. Aaron Gordon, Commissioner Gordon's on the team. KCP, yo, this team is stacked. Reggie Jackson, yo, fam. Like, to me, there's no
Reggie
reason
Jackson.
why this team shouldn't finish first in the West. Huh?
Yeah, Reggie Jackson didn't even really play last year.
That's what
Not a
I'm
whole lot.
saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, Toronto Raptors would love to have Reggie Jackson right now because I'm not sure if Malachi Flynn is like ready for, all the minutes that he's about to get. Like, hopefully he is, but, the Nuggets have just an embarrassment of riches, bro.
They
And
do.
I really don't see any reason why, outside of injury, that they shouldn't finish first in the West again. And to give you credit, you called it last year, preseason. You're like, yo, Nuggets are going to finish first in the West.
Yeah, they just. I don't. Again, Jokic is not the kind of guy like he's consistent. You know what you're getting from him, and nobody's really figured that out yet, right? Like, and he's a gamer. He's just a gamer. He just plays, man. Like, unless he gets injured, they're gonna go. They're gonna go the distance, and
They're going to be in the
he's
Knicks
a
again, bro.
yeah he's a lot to deal with, and we all know what winning a championship does for the psyche of a team. So the fact that they're still together uh, is a big deal.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
yeah,
So, number
all right,
two,
yeah.
I have the Phoenix Suns. Yup, got the Phoenix Suns, man. They got obviously
Everybody.
Durant, Beal. Huh? You don't like the
They got
Suns?
everybody. They got everything.
Yo, man, that
Fucking
team is nice, man. And then they went and got Yusuf Nurkic from Portland to be their middle guy. And I think he's a lot tougher than
people
DeAndre
think.
Ayton. You know what I'm saying? So now when
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going up against the Nuggets and got to deal with Jokic, I'd much rather bring Nurkic in there, which he actually, I don't know if you remember, but he was actually the starting center for the Nuggets. Then they drafted Nikola Jokic. Then they
Yeah,
moved off of Nurkic and traded him. So now if they're going like back and forth in a series, like Nurkic has some, some maybe some unfinished business. The man that took his job and took MVPs and all type of stuff. So, that's a
yeah.
nice
Okay,
pickup.
okay.
I got the Warriors at 3 because it's the Warriors, number one. I don't think Klay Thompson can be any worse than he was last year. Maybe he can. I don't know, but I mean, Clay's a
Uh,
shooter and like he's nice, man. And then
yeah,
obviously Steph and these guys. They got Rudy Gay now. They even got Corey Joseph. Shout out to Pickering, Ontario. And
yeah, yeah.
Chris Paul is there. Like, this team, they are a veteran team that also is playing for the 16 games in April, May, and June. They're not playing for the regular season, but I still think they
No.
have enough talent on that squad where they should finish top 4 in the West. I got them at 3.
Okay.
Just to round out my top 6, I got LA, big city of dreams. The Lakers, then the Clippers. So that's a 4-5. And I think that would be like the dopest playoff series in a minute. You know what I'm saying? The Battle of LA. You got LeBron versus Kawhi. Russell Westbrook's over there playing his old team, trying to knock them off. Like, that'll be a hard series, guy. I'd love to see that, yo. So, like, I'm praying for that to be the 4-5 because I think that'd be the illest first round series in a long time. And
Okay.
then number 6, no disrespect to the Kings because I know they finished third last year, but they may come back a little bit just because I think some of the other teams have more incentive now with the new rules where in order to be eligible for all NBAs and all those types of things, you need to play 65 games. And
Hmm.
I think Kawhi and PG, LeBron, AD, they'll be more incentivized to play, and I think they're more talented than the Kings. I think the Kings really got off last year because they were kind of the upstart. Some teams overlooked them maybe up to like mid-season. It's like, oh shit, the Kings are for real. But by then they're already gelling and they're doing their thing. But I got them at number 6. So just to recap: Nuggets, Suns, Warriors, Lakers, Clippers, Kings. That's my top 6.
Okay. Um. Wow. I hear you. I hear you. I'll take. I'll still take. I think Denver will come out at 1. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, you already gone through that. Jamal Murray is healthier this year. Took a year off. Took the summer off. Didn't play Canada basketball.
Big
I
up to Canada
I
basketball,
don't.
though.
Yeah, like yeah. Big up to them for making that. You know what I'm saying? Um. Number
Carry on.
number two. Number two. I still got what I have here. I'll take the Suns as well at number 2. I'll go with you there. All right.
Okay.
Um. Now the Warriors is an interesting thing, but they're again they've gotten small. I don't think the Warriors are coming in at 3. So this is where we start to disagree a little bit,
All right.
right? Um, I don't know. Memphis is not in your top 6, which
No, because
I
remember,
know
John
John
Morant's gonna miss like 30 games or something like that
20
for
games.
suspension.
20 games. I
20
don't think
games.
that Memphis. I don't think that Memphis is gonna be that bad. I if they win 10 of those games, right, and John Morant comes back, there's still a friggin' problem. And I like the pickups of Marcus Smart and Derrick Rose. I think having those two guys, not they didn't just pick up one, they picked up 2 point guards, and he picked up those 2 point guards for a reason. And you already kind of hear it in the media. Derrick Rose told him, "I'm not here to babysit you." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Hmm.
Right? Like you're here, I'm here to, basically you're gonna man up. You know what I mean? You're here to learn, right? You know what I'm saying? And Marcus Smart is a guy that I really can't believe that they got rid of him in Boston. I think that was one of the that's them that's Boston doing that shit that they did with Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
That's Boston doing that shit that they did with who else did they get rid of? They got rid of somebody else, and it just didn't make any
Kyrie.
sense to me. Kyrie wanted out. Kyrie, I love Kyrie, but man, is it him? Is it not him holding himself back at the end of the day? Anyways, we'll get to Dallas in a little bit. But yeah, Memphis, I have at 3. I think Memphis is a dangerous team. Um, it gets interesting here. I do think and I also think the Lakers are better than the Warriors as well. So I'll take the Lakers at 4, right? And then it starts to get a little interesting now because it's the the league of the unhealthies now. It's Kawhi Leonard and Zion Williamson,
Yeah.
right? So whoever is more healthy, I think comes in after the Lakers at 5, and then I'll take the Warriors at 6,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
And I think whoever, and the reason I won't take the team, like if the Pelicans are healthy, they come in at 5, or the Clippers are healthy, they come in at 5. But if those teams are not healthy, then they drop down to like 8,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's what it is for those two teams, and they're gonna have to. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are gonna have to fucking play now. So there is no, oh, like this, that rule was made just for Kawhi Leonard. Like
Yeah.
you have to play. You know what I mean? So right, but that rounds up my 6. So Nuggets, Suns, Memphis, Lakers, and then either the Clippers or the Pels, and then the Warriors.
Okay. I think that's a fair like assessment in terms of you kind of labeled it as like the the battles of the injury plague teams or whatever, like
Yeah,
you know and that's why I have Zion and the Pelicans at 7. Like I wanted to move them up, but like it's a little harder to trust because at least I've seen like Paul George carry a team before. You know what I'm saying? Like if Kawhi was to
yeah,
miss some time. But like
yeah,
I don't know if Brandon Ingram's gonna carry a team or CJ McCollum if like Zion misses time. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
so that could go either way. Like I could have the Pelicans at 5-2 if and I wouldn't be surprised. But for the purposes of this exercise, I have them at 7. So I totally agree with you there. And then my 8
Yeah.
though is the Grizzlies, and you had them at 3. So like that's like a big disparity in terms of where we see this team. You know what I mean? Like
Really, the Grizzlies were number 2 last year.
yeah, but they're gonna lose John Morant for 20 games. All right. And then you're bringing in Marcus Smart and D Rose. Like I don't think D Rose is gonna like play any real minutes where he's gonna be a real difference maker in that regard. But I don't know. I just feel like that team's missing scoring, That team's missing scoring without Ja Morant, and then Jaren Jackson Jr. played in the summer, so I'm really not sure how serious he's taking training camp. I don't pay attention to the Grizzlies training camp, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like when I look at like their top roster, like Steven Adams, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr., Luke Kennard, D Rose, Marcus Smart, like that doesn't sound to me like a team that should be number 3 in the East without John Morant. And then we'll have to see how Ja has been able to work his way back um
Game shape.
into the team. Well, hopefully he's coming in shape. Like you can't be at like he comes out of shape, this team's done for. Like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
looking at it
Yeah.
as he's coming back in shape, and the only thing that you need to figure out is how to work your way into the chemistry of this team because they've now played 20 games without you.
Well, here's the thing. He's suspended, but he's with the team, as far as I can tell.
Yeah,
Looks to be that he's with the team, he's at the games, you know what I mean? He's just not allowed to play,
right.
right? Now, so if he's with the team, to me it says he's probably allowed to practice at some point, you know what I mean? Or I don't know how under wraps they got to keep that. Maybe he can't practice. I don't know. But
I'll check it out right
I
now. See
think
if there's anything. Go
I
ahead.
think that that I think that's what Memphis went into, like, they those are off season moves, but they made off season moves to one, they show that they care about their fucking star. You know what I mean? Two, they really did some work in terms of character development there, and I think that's important. Like they looked at the culture, they said, you know what, Dylan, as important as you are, you got to go. We still need a Dylan Brooks, so they brought in Marcus Smart, who has no problem being that guy, right? And you bring in a guy like Derrick Rose, high character guy who's gone through a lot of things, has was at the very top of the mountain there, when in his rookie season, MVP, youngest MVP ever, and then knees destroyed. So he knows what it is to go through some things where you have to struggle outside of basketball. So they brought in mentorship, and I think if you just think back to those Raptors teams, it's like a way more valuable Chuck Hayes, right? I don't know if anybody
I haven't heard
remembers,
that
but
name in forever, Doc.
listen, Chuck Hayes. If you remember, Chuck
I remember
Hayes
Chucky. Yeah, yeah.
really was. I think that's how the bench mob really got started, right? Because Chuck Hayes would come in and he was just such a solid player that would get things done. Tough guy, veteran, great in the locker room. And I think that's when we started to see the culture around the Raptors change and they started to become really, really good. You know what I mean? They're a really good regular season team. They became a 50-win team for the longest time, right? I think that's what Memphis has done with Derrick Rose. So I get it. I can understand why you disagree. I just don't think. I think that Memphis has done all they can for the damage control around Ja and to get him straight and to move him into a more professional setting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
So
I don't think you're
it is what it
wrong.
is.
I definitely don't think you're wrong about those like, high character type traits and toughness and stuff like that. Um, just to answer your question, I did look, and as per ESPN UK, it says Memphis Grizzlies superstar John Morant will be permitted to practice and travel with the team to begin the season while serving his 25-game suspension for conduct detrimental to the team. So 25 games. He is allowed to travel and practice. So you're right there. So there's no excuse for him really to not be in shape and stuff. And you probably could be right. I might be rating Memphis a little bit too low because they've also had a track record of winning games without John Morant because John Morant's been injured and he's had a few
Yeah,
suspensions, nothing too crazy, but not like this, not like 25 games, but I mean, yeah, we'll see, I guess.
yeah, we will. Yeah, fair enough. For 7 and 8, I got I got the Kings at 7. I think the Kings surprised a lot of people last year.
Hmm.
I don't think they're that good. I don't. I don't think they're that good. I think they just surprised a lot of people. That new team with the makeup, they play well together, but they still don't have that guy. Like De'Aaron Fox is very good, and so is Sabonis. But it's the same thing I asked with the Raptors in a way. Who's taking that last shot? You know what I mean? Who's that
Oh,
shot
De'Aaron
maker?
Fox.
Okay,
Give me De'Aaron Fox all day.
okay,
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's not an issue
all
with
right,
that team in terms of last
cool.
shot. But
If he's that
I,
guy, cool.
huh?
Is he that guy though?
Is he that guy?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's a fearless player that, he has the right mentality and makeup. I just don't think
You're
that
being nice,
he is
dog.
like a superstar type
You're
guy.
being
Huh?
nice. Yeah, he's not that guy. Not that guy. Not yet. He could turn into that guy, but he's not proven to be that guy. I would quicker have. I don't know. I believe in Tyrese Halliburton a little more than I believe in De'Aaron Fox.
What I'm saying is,
Personally.
like, in terms of the comparison, I really don't know who's going to take the last shot for the Raptors. It may be Pascal Siakam, but like, he hasn't really shown that, he's going to have that, you know, Mamba mentality where like, yo, I'm taking this shot, I'm hitting this shot, and we're going to win the game. But like,
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox has a few game winners. Like, don't get it
Okay.
twisted, bro. I'm
Okay.
not
I
saying
mean, so
he's
does
an all
Pascal.
NBA guy.
So does Pascal, and Pascal is an All NBA guy.
Ooh. All right,
Yeah.
bruh. Can I kick
Yeah.
the
Just kidding.
podcast? All right, bruh.
Anyways, they're at 7, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then 8, I disrespected somebody here. 8 is probably going to be the Mavericks, and they'll probably be better than that. I don't know. Like, fuck.
The West
I
is
wish
nice.
Kyrie just would go to the Lakers or something. Yeah, I wish Kyrie would go to the Lakers. I don't. I really like watching Kyrie Irving play basketball. I even really like some of the stances he takes and the way that he represents himself in the media. A lot of people, you know, it's just I don't know if it's the timing or whichever. It's just like it's clear that basketball isn't the most important thing to him, which is fine, right? Like you can be that guy, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But damn, dog, for all that you could like, if we talk about Kyrie Irving here, you know what I'm saying? And we put him alongside Luka Doncic, and I still don't believe that team's winning a championship.
I don't like the fit either.
Like I, but think about that. Like think about how really fucked up that is. That it's Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, and you still don't see them even making it out of the first round. Like just take a minute to take that in. That's wild to me. And I'm like, and I refuse like at this point, Kyrie, guys like Kyrie, James Harden, all right, you don't love basketball, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you're just gonna have to come out and say that you don't really love basketball that much. It's not that important to you, and you know, play the cut. You know what I'm saying? But by all means, these guys seem like that. You know, Kyrie Irving is a guy that we're gonna make this team better. Oh, I want to be here. I want to do this. I want to do this. Nigga, do it. Can't nobody stop you. You can do whatever you want on that court. Nobody can stop you. You're not even a guy that's injured a lot. You're pretty fucking what's it called? You just don't play because of personal fucking reasons, right? What do you what are we getting from Kyrie? One of the most electrifying players to ever play. What are we getting from you? Eighth, eighth. I'm predicting you at first round exits. This is the guy that everybody wants to talk about. That LeBron is the greatest player ever because he beat that team. Or they came back from 3-1. Was it or 3-0?
3-1.
They came back from three
Yeah,
one, right?
3-1. Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget what Kyrie was for that series.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Like I hope no one forgets that. You know what I'm saying? Um, and unfortunately for me, like I kind of had the same disrespect too. Like I had them at 10, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is Luka Doncic, who is a guy that's supposed to be an MVP candidate, but unfortunately, if you finish 10th, like you really shouldn't get any MVP votes in my book. And then you have Kyrie Irving, as to what you just said, like, yo, we've seen this guy perform at the highest level when it counts, when the heat is on and the lights are the brightest and perform. You know what I'm saying? So like it's insane that, this team is not in like a top 6, but like I I don't like the fit. I really don't like the fit. And maybe they prove us all wrong. Like I love Jason Kidd as a coach. Like there's a lot to like about the Mavericks, but then it just feels like for me, any of those teams that have like the two guards as your star, you know what I mean? Like if you think about like CJ and Dame back in the day, or you look at like the Hawks with like Trey Young and DeJounte Murray, and you put the
The
Mavs in
Celtics
there.
for Jason Brown, Jason.
But those are two wings.
Sorry.
Those are two wings. Those are two wings. Two wings should be
All
able
right.
to figure out how to coexist. But the two guards thing, where we're living in an NBA society now, where everybody, shoots. Like there's no real point guards anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like it just feels like a bad fit because both these guys need to have the ball in their hands at all times, and then, your teammates never touch the ball, and then you expect them to hit a shot every now and then when they're not really doing anything all game. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm really hoping that they can
Ain't
prove me
not
wrong.
enough people in the back.
Huh?
Ain't enough ball to go around.
Yeah, yeah, it's not.
Not enough ball. You know why it worked out with LeBron James? Because come that fourth quarter, LeBron don't really want that ball.
Yeah, he's giving it up. Giving it up.
He's giving it up, and it's
Hmm.
not to even say like let me put it this way because a lot of people, I'm a well documented LeBron hater, right? But let me put it to you this way: LeBron is playing the game at a level where he's looking for the best shot, and he knows that if I have Kyrie there, that's probably going to be the best shot. Let him fucking cook. You know what I'm saying? If
Hmm.
I'm driving to the basket and I have Kevin Love in the corner, or Ray Allen or Chris Bosh, and they're wide open, those guys make those shots. That's the best shot. I'm going to give them the ball, right? That's how LeBron is playing the game. And when I can't give him the ball, then I'll bully my way and I'll make something happen. I'll get to the fucking free throw line, and I'm at least going to split a pair. It's been notoriously he's known for that,
Yep.
especially fourth quarter,
Yep.
splitting a pair
I
of free
agree.
throws, right? Kyrie Irving, like that's why it worked with him and Kyrie Irving. It's the same reason why it worked with him and Dwayne Wade. With Kyrie on this team with Luka Doncic now, Luka Doncic is like, I mean, I trust you, Kyrie, but I'm. They call me Luka Magic. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Right? He's looking at it like, yeah, and so I agree. I think, and I go back to Boston again. I think it's the same problem that Boston has. You all of a sudden start thinking to yourself, well, especially when you have two superstars that play the same position and they're running that play for you, like, well, should Jason have gotten this or should Jalen have gotten this? Am I giving Jalen enough ball here to keep him going? Am I keep and those thoughts on a player's mind that fucks with a guy. It doesn't allow you to get into a rhythm. That's why you know what I mean. It's Monte Steph Curry comes in and they have Monte Ellis. Monte Ellis asked out because I'm not going to be able to play my game alongside this guy who's trying to develop, and he's not going to be able to develop either, right? So a lot of these GMs that are putting these teams together, I think it's to go back to your point with roster construction. What's pissing me off about this whole superstar league is, oh, we'll just put a bunch of fucking top-rated players together
Yep.
and we'll make this work. It doesn't
Hmm.
work like that, right?
Hmm.
It's lazy GMing, it's incompetent front office management, and it's more about selling tickets than it is about winning championships, in my opinion.
That's really unfortunate, yo, because like I look at Mark Cuban as the type of owner like in this league that wants to win. You know what I mean? The man gets vexed when they lose. You know what I'm saying? And he's not afraid to like voice concerns about the refs and stuff like that. So like I don't know. Maybe there's some miscommunication between ownership and the front office in terms of this particular situation. But like, I agree, man. Like, you can't just slap together names. You know what I mean? Like superstar names and think it's gonna work. Like, you gotta like start looking at the X's and O's. And that coach, if I'm the GM, the coach of my team should be able to like. I'm gonna bring this to your desk, and yo, tell me how this is going to work if I'm able to secure this player in a trade or sign them as a free agent, etc. Like, and if you can't give me a good X's and O's in terms of how you expect that to work, because you should know who these superstars are because you have scouts and stuff that look at their tendencies and their game. That's just a part of it because you're trying to stop them every night. So now you're
Yep,
bringing them on your team. You should be able to have an idea of how you're going to use this player with whoever else you already have together. And if you can't tell me that, then I'm not pulling the trigger on that trade. So I definitely agree to your point. Lazy GMing, But
yep,
nevertheless, this is what we are in the NBA today. It's a star-driven league, and everybody wants a star to sell those tickets and fill up their stadium. So maybe that's it.
yep, yep. I mean, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
but all right. Well, I do have some questions here, just based on Wemby's not making the playoffs, eh?
Oh hell no, hell no. And and when we get to like the awards portion of this
It's
show,
a hell no.
yeah,
Okay,
it's a hell no for me. And I
hell
and,
no.
and, and I love me some Wemby, eh? I'm a part of Wemby the fan club guy.
Oh, man.
Wemby's sick, bro. This guy
Yeah,
dealing with
yeah,
King. Wemby's tough, yo. I never seen this guy. I never seen a guy that is so lanky and tall that's able to do the things that he's able to do on the wing, yo. Cross a man, spin, under, like do the over and under. Yo, Wemby,
okay. Wemby's
Wemby.
not going. and neither is SGA.
So okay, that was gonna be my question to you in terms of where you see the Thunder falling um, within this whole grand scheme of things as well. So love me some SGA, man. Big up to everything that he's done for this country in the game of basketball. You know what I mean? Like he's the realest one right now. He's one of the realest ones because you know we've seen over the course of many years now that Canadian superstars may not necessarily want to put on the red and white and go in international competition, but SGA is there and he's committed to the team. So big up to him. And he was an All NBA selection last year. You know what I'm saying? He did everything that he could for that team to get them into the play. And I believe they actually won a game in the play in last year. And then I think they got like routed in um the game that would have took them to the playoffs. So they were right on the cusp of making the playoffs. Um I have them at number 9, all right? But I think that that playing experience will catapult them into the playoffs this year, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? Like I love Josh Giddey as well. Like Josh Giddey is, watching his game, man, he's kind of like a point guard to me. You know what I'm saying? He's able to find guys on cuts, make wicked passes and stuff. I like his game. And then Chet Holmgren now, he's basically their rookie. Last year he was drafted, but then he got hurt in the pickup game with LeBron and these
Right
guys. He
away.
didn't get to play any minutes. Yeah, it's tragic, but
Okay, one defensive play on LeBron. This guy broke.
early,
That's crazy.
early.
Early.
But I did a video on that as well, and I was saying maybe it might have been a blessing in disguise for him, so that he can get around the professional doctors and trainers and nutritionists to help him build up his strength. Because, bro, if you're breaking in a pickup game, like I don't know what would have happened to him in the NBA.
Imagine when they lay him out like they laid Alonzo on the first play.
Damn,
Um,
son. So,
they and then another question, right?
mhm,
Because I'm usually a big fan of ex Raptors. You know what I mean? I dislike the way that Fred disembarked from here.
mm,
Him and Nick Nurse, I was like, yo, man, like, yeah, you can feel whatever way you want to feel about things, but let's remember this, right? You owe so much to this team. You know what I mean? And I feel like Fred really leaned more into bet on yourself than, you know, hey, I wanna do for this team. And Nick Nurse is a different thing. I didn't like the way I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but it was a sour departure. It left a bad taste in my mouth about both of them because I really like those two guys. But I digress. So Houston, you think they get any better with the additions that they've made?
yes, I do. I think they get better because they had a young team last year, right? Like they were
Yeah.
really young. Like I don't think
Hmm.
they had really any real vets on that squad. So just injecting that roster with, some guys that are willing to mix it up. They're tough, Fred and Dylan Brooks. Um, I I think that'll make their younger players better to have
Hmm.
some of these vets on their squad now. In terms
Okay.
of, their ceiling for this upcoming season, it's hard to really predict because, a young player could be like, okay one season and then all of a sudden, you know, the upcoming season he's just like, what were you eating this summer? What were you doing this summer? Because all of a sudden you're just like your game took off. So,
Yeah.
they have a few players on their roster that have that breakout potential. Um, but it's hard to really trust that team and say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna put them at number 6 or number 7. Like right now, I had them at number 12. You know what I'm saying? And I think they're the type of team that might be in playing contention for a while and then
Yeah.
potentially drop out. So um to answer your question in a short-winded way now, yes, I do think that they got better and they have the potential to be a playing team. What
Okay.
are your thoughts?
All right.
Because you said you didn't like the way that Fred left. You didn't like the way Nick Nurse, like all the situation went down with them.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm
you know,
not sure that Fred needs to. How do I say this? Fred's a really good player, right? Um, we all know, he got his name Steady Freddy, but like it just became a thing where he had to be the primary scorer, and I don't know if that's what I want from Fred VanVleet. I like that. I liked Fred VanVleet when he came in. He ran the offense. He did what he was supposed to do there. You know what I'm saying? And he got away from that a little. And there's reasons I can understand why with the roster, the makeup of the team, or whatever. But I think winning got to him in a way where it's like you get the taste of the championship, you want to go back there immediately, and you expect everybody to understand what it takes to get there right away. And I don't see how he could look at this situation that we have here and then go to Houston and think that it's going to be any better or any different. Like he's going to have to really change the makeup of what he's been for the last ever since the departure of Kyle Lowry. Like he's going to really have to go back to basics with this team. He's not the best scorer on the team. He's not the best player on the team. And watching them in preseason, he's still kind of playing that way, right?
mm,
Because what's happening over there is that they're young, and so they don't know how to win games yet. And what he's doing is he's going into a mode right now where it looks like he's trying to take over games so that they can win games. And that's not the goal in Houston right now. The goal in Houston is development so that those guys can become the stars that they're supposed to be. And I don't know that Fred is necessarily going to be the guy to help develop them. I think he might stunt some of their growth a little bit, especially with
wow,
the money that they give him.
wow. I mean,
So,
I haven't seen any Houston preseason games, so I'm actually surprised to hear that Fred is playing as if, he wants to put everything on his shoulders. Um, I don't like I wouldn't expect that from him in terms of the expectation from the front office and the coaching staff when they had that conversation with him about how they're going to use him this season. Like I would assume that, and it's very clear to everyone if you just look at their roster and how young they are. To your point,
mm,
it should be about development in Houston and seeing if those guys can make a next step. And if Fred is like playing in a way that's, for lack of a better term, sabotaging that
mm.
development and stunting that growth, like I'm very disappointed to hear that, to be honest. So like I don't know, like I might catch a couple
It's a
games
small sample
here.
size.
Huh?
It's a small sample size. I'll say that much.
True, true.
Right? It's a very small sample size to say that. It just I noticed that like they were down, and they then San Antonio he kind of went on his own little personal run there. You know what I mean, to bring them back into a game. But they've got a lot of fucking talent, and I just think like Fred's gonna have to really take a back seat because I mean between Jalen Green, I don't know if Kevin Porter Jr. I think Kevin Porter actually got traded.
Yeah, traded, yeah.
Yeah, they've traded and waived him because he's in some
Yeah.
bullshit now, which is
Man's
sad to
wilding
hear.
outside.
Yeah, he's you know, and this again, this is very important. I think that even with the Kevin Porter Jr. situation and these teams that they have these like terrible cultures or whichever, it's important to have guys that can veteran and you can kind of build around these kids because they're young kids, right? They're gonna make mistakes and fuck up, but how big they fuck up largely can depend on their environment, right? But hold on, I'm babbling because I wanted to look at this. The Rockets. Let's see. Van Fleet played. He played, didn't he? I'm pretty sure Van Fleet played. I can't find those stats right now. I don't know why I'm not seeing that. Fred.
Let me
I just
see.
wanted to see how many shots he took, but I'm not finding him here. Maybe I'm talking. Maybe I was looking at the wrong game. Maybe he didn't play this game against the Spurs. Either way, there was a game that he played where it just looked
Well,
like
they
he kind
played
of
the
tried to
Spurs
take over.
twice apparently, actually. So
Did they?
yeah. Yeah, he played one game. He played the
How
first
many
game
shots did
against.
he take?
He took 10 shots in 24 minutes. He went 5 for 10 from the floor, 2 for 4 from 3 for 12 points and 1 assist.
Okay. And then who's the next shot getter? Who's the next leading shot getter after that? Who's the leading shot getter at that point?
Yeah, it was what's his name? Cam Whitmore.
Yeah,
So I think he's a rookie. And
yeah.
then who's the next guy they had? Amon Thompson. Which one is this actually? Because those
Amen.
guys
Yeah,
are
Amen.
twins. Which
The
one plays
twins.
for the Rockets, yo? Amin or Amon?
I think it's Amen
Oh,
Thompson.
Amen. Yeah. Okay, so Amen Thompson.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I agree with you. It's a small sample size. You know, he was third in shots. Like that's not too bad, but I don't know.
I mean, think of him making like it's Jalen Green, Alfred Sengun, Alfred Sengun or Singun,
Sangoon,
fucking Sengun. Yeah. This the Amen. What's it called? And then there's that other kid, the tall, lanky kid that they got. I don't know if
Jabari
that's Cam
Smith.
Whitmore. Or Jabari Smith, yes. Right? Like these are guys that are gonna need like if you're gonna develop, these are the guys that need to be taking those shots. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just wondering where exactly, you know, if he's gonna play the way that he played in Toronto, it's gonna be a problem for a lot of money. It's gonna be a very expensive problem. Right? So
Well,
I would have rather seen Fred land somewhere like Dallas.
oh hell no, they have 3 point guards.
You know, who else do they got? They got him. It's who else does Dallas have on it?
Kyrie, Luca, and Fred. And
Kyrie's not a point guard, and Luca's a small forward or a shooting
oh
guard.
come on,
That's
man, those guys are guards, bro. But nevertheless, uh, I think that's something that we should keep an eye on. I mean, you know, let's see how the Rockets progress over the season, how Fred's able to potentially galvanize that squad and you know help them reach their goals of developing and maybe taking the next step. Um, but uh, yeah, I'm gonna give it a little bit more time before I come with it for
sure.
that one. So um, I don't know. I don't know if anyone really cares about the rest of the West. We could probably just move on unless there's anybody else you want to talk about. I don't think we talked about the Blazers, Jazz, or Spurs. So, any thoughts on those teams before we move to the
Yeah,
awards?
the Jazz were an anomaly. Would love to see the Spurs make it to the playoffs, and the Portland Trailblazers, just another organization that seems to have a very big problem in their front office that they need to address. That's all I got to say about those people.
Guy, I can't leave this conversation without asking. So, you would love to see the Spurs make the playoffs? Like
I wouldn't.
who do they
I
have?
want to watch. I want to see who. I want to see Wemby in the playoffs.
Yo,
What you want to say? Like,
Wemby, let's go.
I want to see. That's purely selfish.
So you're a part of the fan club
If
too?
Wemby, yeah, come on, like the guy
Yeah,
nutmegged
let's
somebody last night.
go.
He nutmegged somebody, and then like a couple plays after that, he turned around and just dunked on somebody without even jumping.
Trust.
Leaned over and just crammed it on the man. Like,
God
yeah, this guy's
damn.
cold, but it's you don't want to see Wemby in the playoffs? Yeah,
I
man.
do. I
Well,
do. Like
hey,
anytime the Raptors aren't playing and the Spurs are playing and Wemby's playing, like
uh,
I'm probably gonna have to check that out because this guy
yeah,
is, for like the lack of a better term, the man's a freak of nature, dog. Like they call
absolutely.
Giannis the Greek freak. Like we got to come up with a name for Wemby.
Yeah. Well, Wemby's cold, but yeah, okay. So, are we moving on to awards now?
Yeah, man. Let's actually hold on. Before we move on to awards, I mean, this one doesn't have to be a long segment or whatever, but who's your finals prediction in terms of who's gonna make it there out of the East and the West? Who you got?
Denver and the Bucks.
Fair, fair.
Yeah,
Are you willing to say who's
I'm
gonna win?
buying. Oh, Dame Lillard goes to the finals. Dame Lillard's getting a ring this year.
Dang, Dame Tom
Yeah,
this year.
Dame. That is the one thing. Listen, man, I had this conversation with you the other day. Dame doesn't get enough respect as the player that he is. We talk Dame time or whatever, but you do not. Nobody puts Dame in the same category or level of skill as like Curry and LeBron and whatever, KD and Durant. And I don't know how to tell people this, But if he's healthy, y'all gonna find out this year
Yep.
what Dame really is.
I
That
agree.
is game winner Dame. Like that man. I've watched. I will turn on the TV to watch a Dame game 7 every time, and you know why? Because I know he's dropping 40 plus. I know for a fact he's dropping 40 plus, and I'll even turn it on because his team sucks so much that I knew it was going to be close, and I know he's hitting a game winner. Like, and that is must see TV. So I don't know. Y'all better hope that they're not healthy because Damon's single coverage. Do you remember when? Do you remember in the bubble when they played? I don't know who they played, and
To
Spencer
OKC, right?
Dinwiddie. That was that in the bubble. Either
I don't
way,
know. Was it?
there's there was somebody
They
they
did
were
like this.
playing.
Bye.
Yeah, there's that, but there's this other clip when they're playing, and he's like, and I think it's Spencer Dinwiddie telling somebody like one of the rookies is like, "Yo, man, you see Dame coming over half court. Like, why are you waiting for him to get over half court? You pick him up." And the guy was like, "Yeah, but I picked him. No. You pick him up. That's fucking MJ. That's the second coming of Black Jesus coming across motherfucking black fucking court.
Woo.
Yeah. That's an NBA player talking about another NBA player. So
Mm,
fans and pundits can say all that stuff, but I know for a fact that that is a feared man across the board. I never heard nobody talk no shit to him, and anybody did talk shit to him, they paid for it. Russell paid the ultimate price. He ain't been the same since.
mm.
Period.
I mean, yeah, like amongst the players, like you'll learn who the real dudes are. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously, we listen to all these different media shows and stuff like that, and everyone has their opinion. But if the players are saying what exactly like what you just said as that example about Dame, then Dame that dude. And that is also why I got the Bucks in the finals. Also, I have the Bucks in the finals, but I have a rematch of what was it, 2021 finals. I got the Bucks and the Suns, but this Suns team's looking a lot different than the Suns team that the Bucks faced the first time, and the Bucks obviously look different. In terms of who's gonna
I
win, I
hope
got the
they,
Bucks also. Huh?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I got the Bucks.
I hope the Suns don't even make it out of the first round.
Yeah,
I hope that. Yeah, I said it. I hope
yeah.
whoever sees them in the first round, they don't even get out of there. I'm so tired of Kevin Durant and the things he does. Get at me, Kevin. I know you like to respond to people, but like, come on, man. Like, this is Slim Reaper. You know what I mean? You're the guy that came on TV said, "You know who I am? Kevin Durant." And now all you want to do is play with everybody else on these super fucking stacked teams. You know what I mean? Like, bro, what happened? What happened to the killer? What happened to the man? Like, I'm not with the Suns, man. I hope that doesn't work out. I hope it doesn't work out. I really am not. I'm praying on their downfall. Sorry, Kevin. That's just some real shit. Fans say that shit all the time. We
Yeah,
don't
I
want you.
mean, you could feel
Look
however
at
you
us.
want to feel about that, and there's probably some truth in a lot of the things you're saying. But that squad is hard, and I don't think and pause, and I don't think that they are done either. Like grabbing some more reinforcements for the playoff run. So I got Bucks Suns, but I think the Bucks are gonna beat them again. And then Giannis is gonna
Basketball
stop by
blessing.
Chick-fil-A and get his 50 piece again. So that's what's
Okay,
popping.
cool. Yeah,
That's
yeah. I feel you. Okay. All right. So that's your okay. What's your next question there, brother?
All right, yo. So now that we're done with the standings and all that, we talked for on length about the
An
standing
hour and a half.
positions. We talked about the Raptors exactly. Let's just
Yeah.
run through really quickly and do some awards. So, we got MVP of the regular season. And before we actually talk about that, just really quickly, because um, I just want to just make sure that you remember the rule changes. So it says eligibility criteria set to reshape landscape for major end of regular season accolades. Players need to meet 20 minutes playtime in 65 games or play 62 games and be a majority contributor prior to injury. And then the rest of it talks about impact on contracts, supermax, and all that type of stuff. But basically, in order to be eligible for these awards, you need to play 65 games or and play 20 minutes, average 20 minutes in those 65 games, or 62 games. So prior to a major injury. So with that being said, who do you have for MVP of the 2023-24 season?
I have two answers, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I have who I want to win, and I have
Okay.
who I think is gonna.
Okay.
I think it's probably gonna be Jokic again.
Damn, again?
Again, yeah. I mean, how do you compete with 30, 10, and 10, and they'll probably be the best in the West?
Wow. But don't like sometimes the voters get like voters like fatigue or whatever the hell they call it. Like, because like, you look at like Michael Jordan and all these guys that could have won every year and they didn't. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not,
I get it.
you know?
I get it. I get it. I'm just saying that's what I think it's gonna be. Who I want
Okay.
to win
Yeah.
is I would like to see Dame get an MVP. I want
I
to see Dame get an
did it.
I want to see get an MVP. I want to see get a chip. There's not a guy that I like. I'm praying on Kevin Durant. I don't want him to get injured. Or nothing. I just don't want him to see. I don't want him to get a ring in Phoenix, right? But I do want to see Dame. I think Dame is deserving of a ring. I think he stuck it out in Portland as long as he could, and I credit him for that. You know
That's
what I
real.
mean? And he showed up to Miami. There was public that said he wanted to go to Miami. They sent him to Milwaukee, and I've just seen all smiles ever since. I haven't seen him sulk once. You know what I mean? He's there, and I think it's not gonna take long for him to buy in. So I want to see Dame get an MVP.
All right. Fair enough. Um, I have Jason Tatum. Uh,
What's
reason
with you and these
being,
fucking Celtics?
huh?
Like, I don't understand. I don't understand what's with you and these Celtics, bro.
Well, I think they're going to have a strong regular season, and this is the regular season award. And they've been itching for years to give this guy something. You know what I'm saying? All these guys in the media, they're just on Jason Tatum's nutsack. I'm not one of them. I'm just saying that
I
I
don't
think
know, bro.
no, I'm not one of them, bro.
It sounds like you are.
I'm not.
All right.
I would not be surprised if Jason Tatum gets the MVP. I think that they'll finish first in the East, and I think Dame and Giannis kind of wash each other out in that vote. Um, but yeah, I got Jason Tatum simply because they finished first in the East, and he's gonna have another solid season, and they've been begging to give this guy an MVP.
All right, cool.
All right, Rookie of the Year. You want me to go first, or who you got?
I just gotta say it's gonna be Victor Wembanyama.
So I have two answers for this. Just like how you had
That's
two
fair.
answers for MVP.
Yeah.
Um, my rookie of the year, who I would love for it to be, and who I think the best player in this draft class is Victor Wembanyama. But I don't think that he will get the MVP simply because of the thing that I read at the
Yeah.
beginning. Right, I don't think he's going to play the 65 or 62 game minimum. I think he's
Okay.
going to have to put on some more to his frame, and the course of an 82 game regular season will start to take some toll on him, and I think the Spurs will be very cautious with him because that is their franchise. So I really don't see them you know trying to go all out to win him the award. I think that they're going to think of it as overall franchise health and sit him out some games, and Pop's been known to do that anyways, so that wouldn't be a
All
surprise.
right.
So who do I think is going to get it? I think it's Scoot Henderson, man. Reason being
Yeah.
is I think that with Dame leaving, that frees him up now to be a scorer. And I think that statistically it may not be as efficient as we would like, but I think that the overall points per game is going to be up there for him. Um, they still have Portland. They is Portland. They still have Malcolm Brogdon there, and who they got? They have Malcolm Brogdon, DeAndre Ayton, Anthony
Anthony
Simmons,
Sims.
Robert
Yeah.
Williams. But what I think is going to happen with Portland is I think they're going to be a seller. So I would not be shocked to see them start making trades in December. right? And then giving Scoot the keys to go and start running the franchise and build up their draft capital so that they can get some other young guys on the same timeline to play with Scoot Henderson. So I got Scoot for rookie of the year.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been my second choice, anyways. Would have been Scoot.
All
He's
right.
also coming over from the Ignite as well, so he's got some subpar NBA experience, I guess, is what I would say.
Yeah.
Which translates. It helps. We've seen it help with a lot of guys. We saw it help with Fred, Pascal, Chris Boucher. We saw it helps to have that. You know what I mean? To be in that environment. Okay. What's
Okay.
your next award?
Most improved player.
Um, Interestingly enough, I had Emmanuel quickly.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Interestingly enough, yes.
So you think he's going to be like a what, 22, 23 points per game guy?
I think he's just gonna be a lot more consistent. I think he's gonna work. I think well, here's the thing: either he's getting that or six man of the year. I think.
Mm.
Yeah, one of the two,
I like the
right?
six
But
man of the year one more than most
yeah,
improved.
fair.
Because sometimes with
fair.
most improved, like you're looking for a guy that, you know, maybe didn't get all the minutes last year, and now this year his usage has just gone up like crazy. I think
Yeah.
with
Okay.
quickly, it's more of like a efficient type development that we're looking from him. But it could be.
Well, remember, John Morant was last year's most improved player, right? So, I mean, yes, but his usage rate didn't really go up, and you know what I mean. He just kind of just improved. You know what I mean? So his same usage, but better usage of it is what I would say. So I kind of disagree with that point, but I mean that's it's fair. It's fair.
Yeah.
It's a fair
I mean,
assessment. Yeah.
it's your prediction. You're allowed to have your opinion. So, like,
Yeah.
I mess with it.
All right.
Um, I got I'm kind of like stuck in between Jordan Poole and Scotty Barnes. Um, I think Scotty, his usage is now going to go up, and
Yeah.
as a result,
Yeah. Right.
huh?
I said no. Yeah. I think I neglected to think of that at the risk of sounding like a homer.
I know. That's why I'm stuck
Yeah.
between him and Jordan Poole. Because like at first I just had Scotty, and then I'm like, well, I'm just sounding like a homer. But at the same time, when you really break it down, his usage is going up, and he is now the 1B to the 1A, where last
Yeah.
year he was like three or fourth down on the scoring depth chart. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
um, and hopefully within the new offense, with that increased usage also comes high efficiency, and maybe he might be playing more point guard, have the ball in his hands more, assist total should go up, rebounds. So I think there's a good opportunity for him to achieve that. But then the Jordan Poole answer, I just think Jordan Poole's gonna go off this year, fam. Off.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah. I
know.
think so too. I get behind the Jordan Poole as well. I definitely get behind that. All right. What's next?
All right, so
So
two
that was
more.
most improved. Yeah.
Yeah, that was most
Yeah.
improved. So two more, then we're gonna wrap this up. Who's your sixth man? Is it quickly?
No, my sixth man was Gary Trent.
Hey,
DTJ, man, if he can figure it out, not coming off that bench, it could be lethal, boy. It
all
could be
right, I
lethal.
like
You know
it.
what I mean?
I like it.
It's green light. It's chucking season for that boy. So you know what I'm saying?
I
Chucking
like it.
season.
I like it. So you say
Yeah.
green light. So I'm gonna stay in that same color because that's what I'm wearing today for some odd reason. I got
That's
Derek
it.
White in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. 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 Okay.
I think with
All
Brogdon
right.
leaving and him having a larger role in the offense, um, probably having some spot starts here and there, like he'll be able to be in the conversation. So yeah, I got him. So last one, defensive player of the year.
There's a no. This is no. There's one guy that deserves it and keeps getting snuffed, and that's OG Ananobi.
I know, I know.
He deserves it. I'm sorry. I don't know. He's guarding 1 through 5 every year. I think he's the second best option besides Joel Embiid to guard Jokic. Um, yeah, the friggin' OG Anunoby. I really hope that he has a good year this year. You know what I mean? I really hope that for him because I think he's a solid player. I hope he worked on some stuff during the summer, handles and all that stuff. But defensively, he deserves that award. Period. Period. Hands down.
At the very least, he should be all defensive first team. Like last year, he
Yes.
got snubbed for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely mess with OG. I got Giannis. So like the last time he won it was in 2019, but I just think that Bucks team is going to be poised to do some real damage, and with Giannis not having to do so much now on the offensive end, he'll still be dominant on the offensive end, but I think he'll really thrive even more than he did before on the defensive end. So I don't know. That one might be like cheating, but I got Giannis.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I still think it should be OG, but I can see them giving it to Giannis. I can see that happening. So, you know.
All right, my brother. So we at our an hour and 50 minutes.
1 minute.
Wow, bro. Wow.
I
I gotta go pick
mean,
up my kids just now. Like I gotta figure things out with my life. It's Friday. So like
yup.
what you got going on, man? What you got going on?
I'll try and drag Shorty somewhere, see if she want to watch the game with me. Um, you know, I want to catch a Raptors game. I just don't know where they're even showing them. Or, like, it's hard to find them right now. It's a hockey city again. All of a sudden, it's always been, but at least you see at Raptors games when we were winning and we were in that championship mode. Um, so yeah, I'll probably try and catch this game, get something to eat, chill out. You know what I mean? And yeah, maybe I'll go back and catch a couple of the prior broadcasts of this to see what was going on because I haven't had a chance being so busy. And yeah, that's it, man.
That's what's
Basketball and the
up.
girlfriend, buddy.
That's what's up, man. Well,
Mhm.
I 1,000% appreciate you coming through and showing love, man. You always hold me down from time. This is my Leo. It's my brother, eh? Understand that? It's my man, yo. Big it up for Kani, yo. Oh, you want that too? I got you. I got you. I got you. All right, my G. So,
Yeah,
yo, I
keep it up.
appreciate you. This
You
episode,
likewise, brother.
say what?
I said likewise.
All right, done, no, done, no. So,
Yes, yes.
we're gonna wrap this up, man. Appreciate everyone that's been supporting me in some way, shape, or form. Whether you're following me on X, formerly known as Twitter, or Instagram at Raptors Flex. If you are watching this video and you stay tuned for the whole thing, salute, bro. Please like,
Tap, tap.
subscribe, and comment. And you already know the flex. Till the next one, it's your boy, and I'm out.
Peace.